Yes, people, welcome back once again to another episode of the Triggered Thoughts podcast. I am your host for today, man like the official, the original, the bombastic, Verbz, and I'm with my other host,
Geniusdan.
Yes, Genius, what's going on?
I'm good, how are you?
Yeah, man, I'm good, my brother, man. How you keeping?
Yeah, I'm keeping good,
Yeah?
Yeah.
Life treating you good?
Yeah. I'm looking forward to this one. This episode is very much needed.
Most definitely, my bro. Yeah, man, how you holding out in this weather, man? I ain't gonna lie, it's getting cold, blood.
Yeah, I've noticed as well. It's that time now, isn't it?
Temperatures dropping on a madness, bro.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a proper winter this year.
You reckon?
Yeah, I believe so, man. If snow don't drop this year, man, then boy, I don't know, mate. But right now, it's feeling pretty peak. Like, usually it gets cold around, like, so I remember sometimes, like, nowadays you'll have, like, decent weather in Christmas and that, and then it starts getting cold around January.
Yeah, I've noticed that. I have noticed.
It feels almost like it's getting stinging cold now.
I have noticed that actually as well.
I don't care what no one says. I know everybody right now has got their heaters on. You get me?
The bills are going to be going up. That's what I know.
Trust me, you know what I mean? But yeah, we won't get too much into that one and that, you get me? But yeah, that's the next time, you know? But yeah, man. What was I going to say now? Yeah, man, people, man. Hope you guys listening are all well. Whether there's a small amount of you listening or a large amount of you listening, we hope you're all good, man. Remember, we have our own YouTube channel, if you're not aware, and it goes by the name of Official Triggered Thoughts Podcast. So type that into your YouTube search box. Watch our videos, listen to some full episodes of our podcast on there, and do the honorable thing, back your boys, and subscribe.
Yes, hit that subscribe button.
Yeah, man, tap that. Yeah, good to have you guys on board. So yeah, so today's episode topic is going to be about generational curse. How you feeling about this one, bro?
Yeah, I know a lot about this. It's something that's plagued many people for a long time. I think what it is, there's some people, they don't really know about this, so they don't understand. And the thing is, this has been going on for years, and like the fathers, and it goes on and on. And the thing is, I don't ever think it actually ever gets broken I'd say it doesn't actually get broken a lot of the times because some people are, ignorant of it, so they don't really know much about it. So if you don't really know much about something, you can't really deal with it. You can't tackle it because you're oblivious to it.
Well, this is why we're here to break it down for the listeners, bro.
Definitely.
I like the way you got the passion already, bro. You're coming in there quick with the quick fire. You know what I mean? That's good, man. So let me break it down for the listeners. Just in case they don't know what generational curse is. Yeah. So, generational curse is when family members inherit poor behavior, poor habits, things like abuse, mental illness. Let me elaborate quickly on the mental illness part. We're not trying to judge nobody with the mental illness thing at all. My God! Yeah, we're just saying mental illness is a very common thing now. We're not trying to make nobody feel singled out or feel odd because of it. These things happen. All I'm just trying to say in mentioning this now is that sometimes people develop mental illness and they don't know that there's a history of it in their family bloodline. My God!
Well said, cuz. Well said. Spot on.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, people with mental illness, you're not alone. You know what I mean? Find the right channels, seek support. Don't be ashamed. It's one of those things, as long as you understand it, get to know it, find out how to manage it. We hope you lot will do okay. and overcome.
My God, my God.
It's weird. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So, things like addictions as well. So generational curses can be inherited by someone, like I said, who doesn't know their parents or ancestral behavior. So I'll give you an example of this, listeners. Yeah, you can have a child who doesn't know their father, and the child is exhibiting or displaying behaviors that are exactly like the dad, even though they've never met.
Yes. Correct.
Yeah, and sometimes those behaviors are not always positive.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's basically what a generational curse is. Geniusdan, I know you're quaking to throw down some words on the mic. What do you think about this subject, my brother?
My God.
Well, to be honest with you, I came to the understanding of it from a biblical point of view. So this also, generational curse also goes back to the days of the ancestors. Also, what you would also refer to as ancestral sin, generational sin, or ancestral fault. So, our forefathers, even, back then, when there was disobedience, towards, God's commandments and stuff, there was a price to pay. And sadly, disobedience always comes with a cost. There's a price you pay for it. And, if it was never dealt with, then what would happen is your lineage, it would be passed down. And the thing is, unless it's broken by prayer and fasting, or, you deal with it, first you have to identify it and realize that it's something that you have. And then, you find out, you have conversations with family members, your dad, and you find out that actually this thing has never really been dealt with. And to deal with it is you have to obviously confess it out, pray and fast against it, and ask God to sever that link, so that when you now have your children, that whatever's been passed on from that generation doesn't continue, it stops. Does that mean that it no longer passes down to future generations? Does that mean? You see, the thing is as well with it as well is there's a lot of demonic power behind it as well. So, sometimes as well, you'll find that a lot of our ancestors were dabbling with, things like idolatry, witchcraft, things like that, and
what's idolatry, bro?
Idolatry will be like, if you worship, for example, something that you give your attention to. It could be like forms of statues. It could be pictures. It could be anything that's you idolize. It could be like a rapper, someone that you have up in your wall and you just idolize. You give all your time to it.
Okay,
yeah. And God classes that as a sin. Idolatry is a sin, because anything that you really imagine, something that hasn't given you life, you give your all to. But then the very person that created you and gave you breath, you don't give any reverence for. And I remember reading the book of I'll give you an example. Book of Daniel, King Nebuchadnezzar. He was quite pompous and very how can I describe? This guy was very like boastful. It was very bragful. This kingdom's mine. Is it not my hands? And God had to humble him for 7 years. Right. And I made him in the forest, made him like be amongst the beasts and the animals. And then one day he came to his senses, and then, I said, yep, give glory to the Most High. It's him, that I have these things because of him, and it's him. So yeah, he learned a lesson. But prior to that lesson, God warned him. God sent an angel. Now God spoke to him through Prophet Daniel and said, Prophet Daniel said to him, humble yourself, O king, because, it's the God, while you're in the position you're in, he gives, he takes, and yeah. But anyway, cut a long story short, that king had a son called, I can't remember the name of his son. I think it was...
you mean you don't remember?
I can't remember his son,
My God!
I don't even, there's a name, I don't want to get it wrong. I don't know if it was Darius, but he had a son, and the son did something very disrespectful. He partook of some some holy items that he took, and he was worshipping, you know, the gods of gods and stuff like that, and in the temple of God, and you know, God just wrote, an invisible hand came and started to write on the wall many tepu. It was in some language that I didn't know, so imagine you're in this place with your friends, you just see this hand just writing on the wall. You'd be scared, man.
My God.
See this
Of
hand.
course, man. I'll be pooping bricks, mate.
So, you know, he said to his men, find me a man that's able to break this down and give interpretation. Whoever's able to give this, you will have a third of my kingdom, and a gold chain will be put around his neck. Obviously, back then, that was something that was, you know, quite popular back then. And Daniel said, yeah. He said, yeah, I'll give you the interpretation. He said, your jewelry and stuff, keep for yourself. I don't want it. But he said to him, you have failed to give glory to God. Your dad, knew what God was like, but you failed to take heed, and you've done this. So basically you're saying to him that your days are numbered and you're going to die because another kid in the club and take over.
Wow.
It happened, yeah. You see what I mean?
Yeah, that's deep.
Yeah, man, it's deep.
Mm.
You know.
Yeah, man, thank you for the biblical breakdown, my brother. We love that.
Yeah.
I mean, see, lesson to be learned, man. You know what I mean? But yeah. So on a basic perspective for the listeners, let's talk about like how the generational curse could even be something as simple as like negative behavior or lack of belief.
Elaborate more on that.
So, you know, negative behavior, you could have family members in the past or family members that you actually know that are very negative, very toxic, have a poor attitude towards other people, or maybe just life in general. They just muck about, basically. Or they have lack of belief when it comes to achieving. And that could be your mum or your dad or your granddad. And then, you know, you've seen or been around this energy so much that it even becomes you. You know, then you can't achieve. You're deemed as negative. You kind of don't realize that that's the case. You're just rolling with all the punches and stuff. And then one day when you catch a moment of wisdom, when you reach a certain point in your life, when you become somewhat aware,
My God.
you recognize when you sit down in your hole of meds, or you sit down for a moment and take some thoughts in that this behavior has actually been inherited.
My God.
And in order for you to achieve, and in order for you to be a bit more positive, you're going to have to make the effort to make change.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? And when I give that scenario there, I think there's going to be a lot of listeners. You know, I myself can say, yeah, I've experienced that. Do you know what I mean? And there's going to be a lot of listeners that's experienced that. Sometimes our families come through, you know, a lifestyle or a life experience where this has been handed down to them, handed down to the next one, handed down to the next one. And now you're the person that becomes aware that you're behaving like this, and you got to put a stop to it. And the reason why you got to put a stop to it, even if it's not necessarily for yourself, you have to do it for yourself in order to do it for your children.
Yes, I totally agree. Yep.
Because some people are in families where they want to achieve, they want to do great things, they want to take risks and try to, you know, put things in place where they, I don't know, start a business, or, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Want to go to college or uni and become educated and stuff, but their family might have a you can't do this attitude, or you're not capable of doing this attitude, or we don't go to university attitude, or whatever. And you pick it up, you might not see that there's anything wrong with you deciding you're not going uni, but if you was to stop for a minute, speak to your family members, ask exactly, oh, mom, did you go uni? Dad, did you go uni? Did grandma go uni? Did granddad go uni? You're going to find there's probably a long list of people that didn't do any form of further education.
Yeah, that's once again, there's that pattern, isn't it? That's followed down.
This is
the
it.
same pattern. It's true.
You sound like you want to elaborate on that, cuz.
You know what it is? It's, once again, as I was saying, it's identifying patterns and, identifying, certain behaviors and traits.
100%.
And I think this is where a lot of people miss it. Because once again, if you don't have a knowledge or understanding of something, how can you really address it? It's very hard to address something that you don't have the understanding of.
Most
and
definitely.
This is really good that, this is a topic you chose to talk on, because there's a lot of people, they are living lives where things are not happening for them. It's like they're hitting a brick wall, because what a lot of people don't realize as well, when you're under a generational curse, or even a curse itself, nothing ever goes right in your life. And if you fail to break it, this thing will continue throughout your lifetime until you enter the grave, and then your children now will continue on with that inherited heritage. And I'll give you an example, the things that curses can do. It can impact your finances, relationships, fruit of the womb.
My God,
some people call it bad luck, but every appointment becomes a disappointment. Even
he's heating up.
You're right. You're feeling it right.
Man, you're heating up, blood. Seriously, give it to them, bruv.
And some people, will have, embargoes in place, meaning that it's like there's a restriction, so you can only go so far until you remove that restriction. Like you go to the airport, and then you can't go any further until certain things are checked. And once those things are checked and everything's okay, then you can go. But some people are in a place of stagnancy. Like they're stagnant. They can't seem to progress, and and a lot of people are in this place where they're like, I can't understand. They know something is wrong, but they don't understand what it is. It's like, my God, every time, I'll give you an example. Some people, every time they go for an interview, they never get the job. So it's always setback.
That's a great example, cuz. Great example.
Yeah, no, the reason is I've been there, and once again, it's really doing the research and trying to understand spiritual things, because the thing is, this earth is governed by spiritual rules. It's governed by spirituality. There's different spirituality, but from a godly point of view, yeah. Because anything that before anything takes place in the natural realm is first starts on the spirit. So this is why it's so important to be able to have spiritual authority, for you to be able to then execute and change certain things, so that what was previously affecting you won't presently affect you going forward. You see what I mean?
My brother, you are giving it to them.
Yeah, there's even, I'll give you an example, because there's people.
Because keep heating up, man. Keep heating up, bro. I beg.
This guy. Yeah, some people, they have one miscarriage after another, and then when you check the history, going back, and you find out from if you happen to have a conversation and you speak to your mum or the aunties, there you find that there's a connection, and once again, it's like a form of curse, and this is why it's so important that even us as parents, that we're very careful in the things that we dabble with, because sometimes even just partaking in things like witchcraft, or going to juju men, as it comes with consequences, man, because sometimes it might not necessarily affect you, the one that's doing it. You pay a price, but then because of what you're doing now, it now falls down on your kids. Do you see what I mean?
100%. Wow, cuz you're going in, man. I like this, man. Special delivery, like Amazon, bruv.
Amazon,
Special delivery. You're going in. Go on, keep going, man. Fire away, man, if you got more, bro.
Yeah. So I'll give you an example. Like I had a sex addiction, and then I found out had I
wait. You sure you want to go there, cuz?
Yeah. No, do you know why?
Right.
Because what it is it's gonna be a message that we'll be able to help and help people. What it is, yeah. In my past, in my previous lifestyle, how I was many years ago, there was this. I was just sleeping around, and even going back, even from my dad as well. Then obviously the heritage there. He's got loads of kids. Does that what I mean? I was on that same path, but potentially could have been worse. Does that what I mean? Because this thing was very chronic in me. Does that what I mean? And God bless the pastor that since passed. She was a blessing in my life, man. God bless her where she is now. I went through deliverance, man. Because what a lot of people don't realize, you see when you find that you have inherited a habit or there's a habit that's chronic in you, you have to check it out. If you find that you have this addiction, I'll give you an example. Like you could be someone, all of a sudden now you find that you're addicted to gambling. You need to check that out. You don't have any control over this gambling addiction. You're spending the mortgage money, you're spending the rent money, you don't have any control of it. Check the history and find out if this is going back to if your dad had that problem, or if your mum had that problem, if her mum's mum, or you'll find that there's some sort of trace back. Because sometimes people are going through certain things, or they find that they're in certain bondages, and they can't. Sometimes they're like, I don't know why I'm like this, and especially if you're that sort of person that says, I don't know, I don't understand, like, I don't know why I'm like this. It's like, there's something there. There's something there. And sometimes, all it takes is for you to have an open heart and, cry out to God, and God will show you, even if it might not be through a person. God might visit you in a dream and show you, the root of the problem. And I think what it is as well, a lot of people go through things, they need to discover the root. A lot of people don't have to discover the root to a lot of the situation, and when they do
root cause.
It's something that is not really addressed a lot of the times, and it's sad because people end up going to the grave with a lot of unresolved issues which could have been rectified.
Because man, that stuff you're talking is powerful. Yeah, man, bruv, you're giving people some knowledge, man. Keep going, man. I'm stepping out. Go, man, go.
Yeah, so what I was saying with regards to my dad, I would have been worse, because the route that I was going on, man, 60 plus women and this, what I mean, and just imagine, like, I couldn't even imagine having loads of kids with different, baby mums, and even that, people, you have to check that, man. If you're a man that's out there impregnating women and moving on to, it's not a good thing, man. And you're piling up curses on yourself, because the next thing as well, now that we're touching on, this generational curse, this sleeping around is not good, man, because initially, God ordained it for one man to be with a woman. That's how it is, because I think I've spoken about this before, when you become one with a woman, or you have sexual intercourse with a woman, which is also called sexual energy exchange, you become one with that person. You become one with that person, but not only that, sex is not a natural thing, it's spiritual. So you enter into what is called a covenant with that person. But if that person has slept with previous people and you slept with previous people, you now are building what is called like a family tree. So you take on board all those spiritual personalities and behaviors and, emotions of that person. That's why you find that a lot of people, nowadays are unstable. They have anger issues, they have they're emotional, they never had these things before, but now all of a sudden now you've been sleeping around, you adopted all these different characteristics and you don't understand why. It's because now you've become one with all these different spirits, because that's the thing, when you sleep with these people, I'll give you an example, if you sleep with someone that's a witch, you take on that witchcraft spirit, you take on all this. It's because I don't forget, listen now.
So you're getting bare horns today, bro. Cause you're killing them. You're killing them. The knowledge is real, bro. The knowledge is real. I love this, man. Seriously. When you're speaking, I'm just sitting there with my face like all scrunched up, like, ow, he's going in. Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
It's beautiful, man. It's beautiful. Trust me. Keep going, man. If you got more, bro.
Yeah. No, so I was saying, even this, this sex thing is quite serious, and I think it's a major one that gets a lot of people into bondage. When I say bondage, meaning that things just don't seem to pattern right in their lives. Because it's like a blood. It's like basically it's like a covenant, like a blood contract. You know this thing where when a woman is a virgin, you remember there's this. Is it the hymen that you break?
Yeah.
And then she bleeds. That's that blood is basically it's a contract. You've entered into a contract. That's why you find that women will probably be able to confirm this, that they always have a special kind of love for the first person that they slept with because that person broke.
100%. 100, bro. I think you're gonna frighten some men out here, mate. Trust me.
My God!
Man. So it's cause I tell you, there's so much different things, man. Like if people was to really understand how deep this generational curse thing is, it would make a lot of people think very carefully about their future actions. You see this knowledge as well, and I have to pass down to my children. And and so that they can have the understanding, because I didn't get the understanding. There was not anyone there to tell me from a young age. Maybe I'd known certain things, maybe things would have been different. I don't know.
You said you were self-taught?
No, like obviously when I got a lot older, I acquired certain knowledge. I'd learned from other people certain things. I spoke about my experiences. This is what I mean?
Yeah.
And the thing is as well, anytime that you get your deliverance, you have to be very careful. You have to make sure you secure that deliverance, because the devil will always come and test you with the very thing that you were delivered from, just to see if you've truly changed and to see if that thing is still in you. Is that what I mean? So, like even I remember when Jesus did his fast, he was tempted by the tempter and the devil departed for a season. So sometimes, you have an alcoholic. What's the thing that they call that? You relapse. You have to be careful, man, because sometimes when you get your deliverance and you get your healing, you have to make sure it's a process that you have to keep. You have to keep that healing by making sure that you stay focused and you don't end up going back into bondage to that very thing. Because once, I'll give you an example. Listen to this one. You see, if you've been delivered from something, whether it might be alcohol, if it's prostitution, gambling, you have to make sure you secure that healing and secure that deliverance, because if you don't, that very thing, that spirit, because a lot of the stuff that people go through, even certain behaviors and stuff, is demonic. It's a demonic spirit. So if that spirit now, you've got your deliverance and that spirit now has been cast out of you and it leaves you, that spirit now has gone back into the atmosphere. But what happens is it's around, but it just waits to see if you've really changed.
My God!
So
100%.
if it comes
100%.
back now to the house referring to the individual, comes back and it sees that the house is clean, swept, it's like, well, my man's not really changed. Okay then. So he said, because you got rid of me the first time, I'm going to make it even harder for you to get rid of me next time. So what it does now, it goes and brings 7 more wickeder spirits on itself. Yeah, 7 more. Yeah. So the 7 more. And that's not including the one that was cast out, making it 8. And it says that the state of that man is worse than the last.
Because you're getting in, man.
And then to make things worse, Jesus turned around and said, so shall it be unto this wicked adulterous generation. So a lot of people actually have a lot of demonic spirits, indwelling in them because of certain choices. And
so cause is that why, like usually when people give up something, so say for instance, if they give up like sex, for instance, is that why, like, when they make the effort to like acknowledge that they've got that problem and they put in the work to try and change it, and they swear to themselves like, look, man, I'm going to be more disciplined, I'm going to change it, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Is that why that temptation just seems to appear like times 10 in front of your face?
Yeah, definitely. And the thing is, I tell you, for people, listen to this one. You see, for people that want to be truly free, Yeah, try and do a 3-day fast, and you'll see how much spiritual forces fight the person. You know what I mean? Because what it is that when you're steadfast and you're set, and you have a made up mind that, you know what, you're really going for this. Yeah, this is when the fight will come, and you have to make sure that you because it's not a natural battle, so you have to make sure that you're someone that understands the power of prayer, because it's not a natural problem, it's spiritual, and the forces that are unseen spiritual forces that you cannot see with the naked eye. So even certain times, certain people get certain visitations at night in forms of like wet dreams, and wet dreams. I grew up from a young man. I grew up being told that from a scientific point of view that wet dreams, which is also known as nocturnal emissions, it's normal behavior for people that are going through adolescence or people that are going through puberty. But as I got older, I come to understand that's natural man talking. No such thing. That's actually a demonic visitation, and the problem with
break it down, man. I'm listening.
Yeah, wet dreams are not anything natural. Wet dreams are demonic visitations. It's spiritual. That's why what happens is when the person wakes up, they find out that they've discharged or there's semen in their pants. They've had a sexual encounter. Yeah, they've had this guy. My
God.
They've had sexual encounter with a demonic spirit. So that release. So when
okay, go ahead, go on. I'm catching you. I'm catching you.
So when you see the experience seems real, it feels like you're actually having sex with someone. You are.
Yeah.
But it's actually you're actually having sex with a spirit. So
you say you're sleeping with a duppy,
a demonic force. Yeah, it's very real, cuz. Yeah, and the thing is, and the presence is made known because obviously you've released. You know something. Some people wake up and they know that something's happened, because sometimes what these spirits will do, it will come as a camouflage. It will come with a familiar face. So when it comes with a familiar face of someone that you know, it makes it more easy for you to accept what's happening. So you let down your guard, because obviously it's a familiar face. You become comfortable with it, but not realizing that it's a spirit that's taken the face of someone that you know to be able to get this, to be able to have that encounter. But the danger, what a lot of people don't understand, the danger with having wet dreams, or even what is called incubus and succubus, which is basically, incubus is basically the male and succubus is the female. When you release, that will bring potential complications for your relationship. That's why you find that a lot of people's relationships are in turmoil. It doesn't work out, because you've got what is called a spiritual spouse that will now prevent you having successful relationships.
Right. Hold on, blood. You need the horns. Yo, that's cold, Yeah. But you're bringing an energy like we're on Powers for breakfast. Old type, Mr. Powers, man, 100 eyes and all of that, man. Yo, funny, bruv.
Man.
That's cold.
Even some people have, a lot of miscarriages. There's some people, that they have repeat one miscarriage after another. They need to stop that. And, once again, that person will need like a form of deliverance, and they will need to enter into prayer and fasting to break that cycle. If they don't, you have some people, they believe and trust in God for fruit of the womb. But once again, if them or their partner, so that if the missus or the husband have had any sort of encounters with, wet dreams, or, I call it's a spiritual attack or night visitation, they need to denounce and renounce, and they need to deal with that situation. Because what it is basically, like you have, like when some people get into a relationship, and, or they've left their ex and they've got a jealous ex that's maybe in the picture that some people dibble and dabble. They're with one woman, but they're seeing the ex, and obviously, there's going to be someone that's jealous. So
or they're friendly with the ex, and kind of got them in the pipeline.
Yeah, the spiritual spouse, which is the incubus and succubus, is jealous. So what it does now is it will cause turmoil in the atmosphere. And this is, once again, anyone that's in a relationship with their partners. Pay close attention to if you're someone that's regularly arguing. There's always arguings, and sometimes you're like, why are we arguing? It doesn't make sense. Pay close attention to the atmosphere in your house. If you're constantly arguing and bickering, and because once again, it's spiritual. That's what I mean. It's spiritual.
You know what? Because as you say that, you know, like, do you remember that episode, the relationship episode that we had? The one where it was kind of, we did the humorous thing and that, and talking about body counts and stuff. Yeah. That episode, and I mentioned the ex-partner that I had in that episode.
Oh, yes, I remember. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, remember the one that cheated on me and that, I remember, there was a stage when I was with that person, you know, and you see how you're speaking about the, what do you call it, the spiritual spouse?
Yeah.
Right. I remember, you know, I was with her one time staying at her grandparents' house, and I remember I was sleeping next to her, and I remember I rolled over in the early hours of the morning. It was still dark, and when I tried to roll over, it's like I was stuck on my back. And I said, "Right, how comes I'm not moving?" And I opened my eyes, and there was this visual, like faint visual, like a see-through of this like man. But he was like, how can I explain it? It was like, you know them, like them soldiers that carry the guns with the blade on the end, the pistol, not the pistols, the rifles with the blade on the end.
Oh yeah.
And they have them jackets with the like the Michael Jackson jacket.
Yeah.
No, you know them Michael Jackson jackets with the straps going all the way across the chest, all the way down. Yeah, like them, and they got that funny shape hat. Yeah, one of them, and he was standing on the bed over me with his legs open on either side of me, and he had one of those rifles with the blade, and he kind of pointed it down at me like he was simulating, like he was gonna threaten to stab me. You get me? And I closed my eyes and I opened my eyes, and he was gone. And that relationship was toxic. So it made me realize, like, that girl, I didn't know what to call it, but now you're talking about it, it must have been that. But that girl must have had a spiritual spouse.
Let me show you the next thing as well, yeah? This, now that you've touched on that, do you know you have some women that tie their men?
Yeah, I heard about that.
Or some men that tie their women. So what will happen? I'll give you an example. What will happen? Because this happened to me. What will happen is, if a man...
Wait, you know what happened to you?
Mate, this was when I was young, man. I'm going to tell you something. So if there's a man that doesn't want you to... do anything with a woman, then what he'll do, he'll put something on that woman. Once again, this is all spiritual, so there's a lot of people that dabble with a lot of darkness. So what will happen is now, when you try and do something with that woman, you can't perform. You have erectile dysfunction.
I've heard about that. I hear about that from a lot of, I'm not gonna lie, a lot of Jamaican people. I've heard about that from. Shout out to the Jamaican community. You get me?
A lot of wickedness, man. Yeah, cause I'm telling you, man. You know, when you really, this generation thing is more. There's more deeper aspects to this thing, man. It's very, very, very deep, man.
Yeah, this sounds like it needs a few episodes. To be fair, man.
There's a structure of a lot of stuff, man. There's a lot of people that do a lot of stuff. When they dabble with a lot of stuff, and even sometimes, I'll give you an example. Even certain chronic sicknesses, some sicknesses that people have. Once again, generational curse that needs to be broken. Sometimes, it could be someone that's put something on the family. You have people, that will put a curse on people. Sometimes the curse might not be directly from God. Sometimes, a curse can be directly from a family member. Going back from future generation, they curse a particular, father or curse a particular seed. And and sometimes, you see, even you have some parents that talk recklessly. Oh, you're worthless. You'll never amount to nothing. That is a curse in itself. And this is why you find that a lot of these kids out there killing each other, because you're worthless. You'll never amount to nothing. You're just like your papa, just like your mama. See,
that's why they say words are spells.
Yeah. Spelling, yeah, it's true.
You're going in, cuz.
Yeah, it's a lot of parents that the downfall of their children, you know, and it's sad, you know, I should have never had you. All them sort of words there have gone forth, and you don't even know, you know, why. Maybe this is the direct result of why there's a lot of, you know, destruction amongst the youth. What has been spoken of their life, you know. Some people have spoken death sentences across people's lives, and, you know, and as a result, these people now, just, I mean, they've become nothing. They've come to naught because someone at a time was angry. A particular parent was angry at the time and just sowed a seed of negativity. Because the words that we speak, they are spirit and they are life. I'm speaking to you now. Like, you could speak to your daughter and say to her, "Oh, so and so, go to bed now." You've just spoken a word. You've not seen that word, but you've just spoken that instruction. The word was so powerful that it was able to deliver a message to her hearing ear for her to then take herself up off the seat and carry herself to bed. Or you could say the same thing to your son. It's time for bed now. I need you to get up and go to bed. And just by you speaking that, you've now got him to get up off the chair and find himself into his bed. So imagine, just by you, just them simple instructions of you delivering those words was able to now allow him to get, imagine that word is powerful enough for him to get up. You remember, it's a word you've spoken, get up and go to bed. Likewise, I say that to my children and they go to their bed. How much more now if you're someone that's constantly speaking negativity into the atmosphere? What do you think will happen?
My God!
Very true.
And the thing is, if people can just master the power of spoken word, do you know even certain sicknesses and diseases that they're going through, you know, that they could they could eradicate it by just spoken word. But you see what it is, people take their words very lightly. If I was going through a situation now, and if I really believe what I believe and I believe in what I'm saying and I know the power of words, I should be able to speak the same word of healing to my body and say, you know, like, whatever I'm going through, like, no, you have to depart, you have to come out of my body, and you need to evaporate, you need to expire. And I really believe that. And I've just spoken healing into the very root cause of what I'm going through. Yeah, because remember,
that's deep, cuz.
Remember the word that we got. God spoke the word into existence. Imagine, spoken word. In the beginning was the word. The word was with God. The word was God. Nothing. Yeah. So the words, and this is the thing that I think a lot of people need to be very mindful of. What you speak, what you decree. Just simple words like, "Oh, I'm tired." You see, like, if we become conscious here because of what we say, you see, like, things, you see certain curses as well, certain things that we put upon ourselves unintentionally or sometimes intentionally because we don't care. Things will be different, and the same spoken word power that we've got, we need to be able to pray and break these generational curses or break any sort of traits or habits that we see in our children, because, you know, like. Because if we're parents that know our children well, we should be able to identify and see certain behaviors that are not right. Certain, as they get older, we might be able to see certain things that's going on. No, I don't like the way that this tree is molded. Let me chop it down, man, and address certain behaviors. Pray against certain attitudes. And just say to God, no, I don't want my child to have these certain ways. I had this. He doesn't have to inherit these ways. Yeah. And decree these things, and, you know, like, and speak the word, because things go out, cousin. You know, like, people will say, "Oh, no weapon that's formed against me will be able to prosper." See that word there? I think a lot of people take it lightly. It's like cliche now. No weapon is formed. You know, like, no weapon. People just use it willy nilly, but do they really understand what they're saying? Do they really understand? You know, what weapon? Because if we talk about weapon, it's not just physical weapons, because the weapons that we have are spiritual, and the spiritual weapons are prayer, spoken word power, fasting. These things are spiritual weapons. You know what I mean? So sometimes when people say no weapon that's formed against me will be able to prosper, it doesn't necessarily have to be a natural weapon. It could be what people are doing the early hours of the morning. these necromancers, these juju warlords, witches. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Wait, cause man, you wrote that down absolutely beautifully, mate. I felt like I was in church having a bloody great sermon.
Yeah, man.
Cause man, beautiful, man. You made this thing powerful. I'm not even gonna lie, big up to you, cuz.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, man, flipping. So, what do we do, Genius? What do the people them that's going through all this? Because everybody can relate to this. I don't care what no one says in it. Do you know what I mean? Everyone can relate to this. They've all had like negativity put onto them, generational curse-wise, whatever, poor habits, abuse, whatever, that they're following the same type of trend, negative thinking, whatever. What do they have to do? I'm sure you covered it already, but cover it again. What do they have to do to get past it? Whether it's from a religious perspective or whether it's just from a person's perspective if they're not religious. What do they do to break these generational curses? Because
first of all, they need to be able to identify, that there's a problem. That's first and foremost. Also, write down certain things that they've noticed about themselves. Whether it's any addictions, things are not going right in their life, setbacks, disappointments, certain thought patterns, just a negative life, just things not going right in their life. So then that needs to be addressed. Also, if there are people that have been sleeping around, they need to denounce and renounce. They have to cut out their sleeping around. My God. And yeah, because to be quite honest with you, sex is probably one of the main sins that why a lot of people's lives are just in turmoil. That's a fact. 99.9% of the time, I'm telling you, you speak to a lot of people and ask them how things are in their life, and it's not right because initially God preferred, or God created, one man to be with one woman. That's initially their plan, But when obviously people sort of and I've been there, just what I mean. Obviously, I didn't know what I knew, what I know now.
Me too, cuz me too.
And unless that's dealt with, then the cycle will continue. So yeah, even this sleeping around and sex outside marriage and stuff like that. All these things bring a lot of curses, setbacks, financial poverties, health issues. It's a big thing, man, because because what it is, it gives the devil legal ground to attack your life. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And the thing is, God is no respecter of person. So he says, He'll allow the rain to rain on the just and the unjust. So it doesn't matter if you're a believer or not. Same thing goes. I mean, it's like, it's not, like the law of the land.
Yeah.
Yeah, it goes for everybody. It's just obviously the ones that happen to know better, they stand a better chance in being able to do something about it. But once knowledge is given, that person's no longer in darkness. It's what you do with the light. Now that light has been given, you're now without excuse. My God. With to be quite honest with you, with the generational curse as well, it'll be good for the people to go and speak to like their family, of their grandparents, or just speak overall and find out certain information, find out what the previous generation was like, because you'll find that there'll be someone that knows something.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that, man. Is that important? Is that an important factor in determining where it came from in order for you to break it?
Sometimes it might not always be possible, because maybe some people might not know understand or even know. But praying against it and praying against something that is a problem, or something that you're going through, is a good start. Does that what I mean? And especially if you're someone that's been with regular partners as well, because you see the thing is as well with even that. If you slept around with a lot of people, you don't even know you've been sleeping with cursed people, then you take on their curses. My God. So it's very messy, man. So you the sex thing is spiritual. So you're still, every person you sleep with, you are spiritually connected to that person, whether you like it or not, because you've established that covenant with that person, and likewise with every person you slept with. So what you have to do now is every single person that you've slept with, you have to denounce and renounce, and you can't just say it internally. You got to say it out. I denounce and renounce this person. I had to do that, man. My deliverance was deep. Had to do that and even for the ones that I couldn't remember, man. I was like, whoever I haven't called there, denounce and renounce.
I couldn't remember, you know.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's serious, man. It's a serious thing, cuz, man. It's a serious thing, man. Is what I mean? Because, you know, people want to be able to experience life in its fullness without setbacks and problems and poverty and sickness. Because there's some sicknesses, you know, to be honest with you, cuz, that is all part of generational curse.
Yeah.
This generation.
Give an example for the listeners, man.
Even cancer. You trace that back, you find out that, I'll give you an example, prime example, perfect example, breast cancer. Some people I've spoken to tell me that, yeah, their mums had it, their mums had it, that. And so that's a generational curse. That needs to be broken. That's what I mean. That situation there is not anything natural. Imagine that, yeah, the person's mums had it, her mums had it, her mum had it. So already people know that, hold on, so that person had it and it's come down. So you now have to be the one to address it and stop it so that it doesn't go down to the next generation. But the only way you're going to be able to do that is spiritual authority, by prayer and fasting. And I'm
thinking on behalf of the listeners, because I think some listeners might be listening, they might think, yeah, but you know, it's been scientifically or medically proven that if somebody has a form of cancer, say for instance, if a mum has a form of cancer and then she has a daughter, it will go down to the daughter, and then if the daughter has another daughter, then it will go down to the granddaughter. I've heard that,
yeah, but if you think about it, the genetics, the DNA, yeah, what is it? Because remember, what is it? Why must it come from the mum down to the daughter, then to the daughter pass it on? Like, people must be able to, if they think about it logically, something is wrong, because people are only looking at it from a natural point of view. They're not looking at it from a spiritual point of view. And once again, that's where the lack of knowledge comes in. People don't understand. They're only understanding scientific reasonings. The scientists are not God. You see what I mean? The scientists.
That part again.
Which one?
The scientists.
Yeah, the scientists, they're not God. People are following what natural man said. But, you know, who was it that put breath in man? It was God. So it would make more sense for people to go to the creator of man rather than the creation, because the creation can never overpower the creator.
Yeah,
don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking scientists, but scientists, man, have got a lot of people in trouble, man, because they're explaining things from a natural point of view, you know, and they don't actually have any understanding of spiritual things. You know what I mean? They're just telling man about natural things, and sadly to say, that's why a lot of people are in a lot of trouble and have ongoing issues, because they're thinking that what's happening to them is natural, and it's not anything natural, it's spiritual. So unless they can understand and get the knowledge and the understanding, they'll forever be going around in circles, because they're trying to deal with something that's spiritual by natural means. It's not possible. You can't deal with something that needs to be addressed spiritually by natural means. You will never get the remedy. You will never get the result.
My God.
Very true, guys. Very well said.
You know, so yeah, what I would definitely say to the listeners is, you know, do your best to, don't just take my word for it. There's a lot of information out there. Do your own research. I'm only giving account of what I've experienced. So I can testify and say that these things are real, because I've had certain dreams. I've had certain deliverances. I've seen certain things that, you know, that's manifested. So I can identify and testify that these things are very true. So I can talk on what I've experienced. For someone that hasn't had any experience, it's very hard for you to talk on it if you don't have knowledge or even experience of it. I've experienced a lot of these things, so hence why I'm able to, you know, shed light on certain things so that people can have a better understanding on how to deal with certain things, or if they're noticing certain traits and things that's not going right in their lives, how they can go about dealing with it. You know, yeah, cuz. You know, so
wow,
yeah, man.
Powerful, man, powerful. You know what, cuz I got notes before me, you know, and your deliverance that you've brought in this episode, you know, is just like covered everything.
Oh, is it? What was the notes?
Yeah, I'm not even gonna spit my notes out on there, but I got notes here, and you just covered everything of what you said, innit? Do you get me? Like, and to be honest with you, it's good because it's good for the listeners, and I'm happy to take a back seat when you're throwing out all that knowledge and you're giving examples of how you've lived it, how you've experienced it, or you're giving examples of other people. I think it's very refreshing for the listeners. The listeners can take a lot of lessons from this episode. I think you've delivered very well. And I think the episode, you know, courtesy of your input, has been extremely powerful. I'm happy with the episode, cuz.
Yeah, thanks.
Trust me,
you,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, thank you, man.
You know, yeah, man. Well done, man. Genius, you know, King Genius in the building. But yeah, well, I'll add and sprinkle my little bit of salt and pepper on the ingredients you've laid down. You get me? Just want to say, you know, to the listeners, with all the information that you've heard, you know, we've covered the generational curse. We've covered what's inclusive of the generational curse in terms of the behavior, the lack of belief, illnesses, mental health, all that kind of stuff. Breaking the patterns, acknowledging the generational curse and trying to make the change. But what I will add for the last bit is once we discover this, it's very important that we need to make sure that we pass the opposite, so the positive mindset and positive behaviors onto the children. So the things that is damaging or not making us flourish positively, you know, we need to pass the opposite into our children and give them that opportunity to be able to inherit a positive mindset, positive way of thinking, positive behaviors, self-belief, you know, good self-esteem, all that kind of stuff. And if you keep on pumping it into your children, I think you can break the generational curse through them. And then they will continue that when they have their children. And I think it's very important in terms of you wanting to break the generational curse. So even if you can't achieve it for yourself, do your best to, you know, achieve it through your children.
Yeah, well said, cuz. Yeah, I love that. Well said.
Yeah, man, respect for that, man. Cuz he was powerful today, man. I took a back seat, like, yo, you going in, man, and I love it, man. You know, like I said, I think you've educated the listeners, man. So I'm just happy, man. So respect to you for that, man. Honestly,
yeah, appreciate that, man. Thank you. Appreciate that.
And you came with the energy, man. For it, I ain't gonna lie, that you're gonna have to uphold that now, you know, cuz. Hope you know, took good knowledge from what we've been saying today, or mainly what Geniusdan's been saying today, because he hit you with the realness, man. Do you know what I mean? So hope you've taken in all that information. I hope it helps you on your journey to breaking the generational curse. Yeah, because that shit in our family, you know what I mean? And we need to do our best to break it, especially for the future of our children.
Yes, it's true. I definitely agree.
That's what I'm saying. So, for now, you got any last words, Genius?
Nah, man, that's everything, you know.
Yeah, man, you spat a whole lot of words still, so you know what, boy, it's all gravy, bro.
That's it, man. Yeah.
So, yeah, now it's a bye from me, Verbz.
Yeah, and bye from myself, Geniusdan. Till next time.
Yeah, man, till next time, and we'll see you on the next episode of the Triggered Thoughts podcast.
Good night, cuz.
Yeah, respect, cuz, man.